All right, let's talk about a word we use 100 times a day, product. But what is a product really? We're going to pull back the curtain and unpack its true meaning. And I'll let you in on a powerful secret that the world's best marketers use to shape the choices we make every day. You ready to see how it all works? Let's dive in. So picture this. You're in a room, and it's packed with absolute pros, seasoned, successful salespeople who've sold millions. The trainer gets up on stage and asks what sounds like the simplest question on earth. What do you sell? And, the answers just fly out. One group shouts, soaps, of course. Another, probably holding up their phones, is like, smartphones. We sell smartphones. And a third group chimes in, refrigerators. They all seem pretty confident, maybe even a little insulted by such a basic question. But here's the thing. The trainer looks at them and says, "You're all wrong." So let me ask you, were they correct? Were they just selling bars of soap and metal boxes? The answer is nope, not even close. Because, and this is a classic marketing principle, a truly great salesperson isn't really selling the physical thing you can hold. They're selling something way more intangible, something much more powerful. A good salesperson sells benefits, utility, and that feeling of satisfaction. See, a customer isn't really interested in the object itself. What we're actually buying is a solution to our problem or the fulfillment of a want or a desire. That is the secret. Okay, so let's dig into that idea a little more. When you pick something off a shelf, what are you really buying? The official definition of a product is incredibly broad. It's not just stuff. A product can be a service, like your haircut. It can be an experience, like going to a concert. It can even be an idea, like a political campaign, or a place, like a tourist spot. Basically, if it's being offered to satisfy a need or a want, it's a product. So let's circle back to our soap example. A company like Hindustan Unilever knows they're not just selling some combination of chemicals. Their ads don't talk about saponified fats. No way. They sell the promise of a good complexion, the idea of glowing skin, or that feeling of freshness. You're not buying soap, you're buying beauty, you're buying confidence. So if a product is actually this bundle of benefits, how do marketers go about building one? Well, it turns out they think about it in these distinct layers, and each layer adds more and more value for you. They think in 5 layers. Let's say you're booking a hotel. The core benefit you're buying is just rest and sleep. The basic product is the room with the bed that delivers that. But of course, you expect certain things, right? A clean bed, fresh towels, a working bathroom. Now, to really stand out, a hotel will augment the product with stuff that exceeds your expectations, like a welcome drink or free superfast Wi-Fi. And that final layer, the potential product, well, that's all the cool stuff it could become in the future, like a smart room that knows your favorite temperature. Okay, so if every company is out there trying to build the best bundle of benefits in a really crowded market, how do they make their product the one that you choose? They differentiate, and there's so many ways to do it. It could be through form. Just think of that iconic Coke bottle shape. Or it could be unique features like a phone that has a foldable screen. Brands can compete on pure performance quality or being known for their bulletproof reliability. Even things like style and design can be the key differentiator that lets them charge more. Every single one of these is a strategic choice. All right, let's zoom out a bit. Most big companies don't just sell one thing. They manage entire families of products. Marketers call this a product mix. So how do they keep track of these huge portfolios? Well, they think about it in 4 key dimensions, and Dabur India is a perfect example to see how this works. Their product width is how many different lines they have, from healthcare to juices to personal care. The length is the total count of every single item they sell across all those lines. Then you've got depth, which is how many versions are in just one line. Think of all the different flavors of their real juices. And finally, consistency, which is how closely related all those lines are. For Dabur, it's pretty high. Most of it is built around natural, herbal health. So, the real key is how companies use this whole structure to grow. Let's look at 2 final, really powerful strategies they use to expand and adapt their product lines. Okay, first, you have line stretching. This is when a company takes its product line beyond its current range. They can stretch down market to get a bigger audience, or they can stretch up market. That's exactly what Toyota did when it created the luxury Lexus brand. Then you've got line filling. That's just adding more items within the current range, like a chip company adding a new flavor to block out a competitor or just keep their distributors happy. Let's look a little closer at that down market stretch. So why would a company do that? Well, there are usually three main reasons. One, they see huge growth potential down in the mass market. Two, it's a great way to block a cheaper competitor from getting too powerful. And three, maybe their own mid-market is just slowing down or shrinking. It's almost always a calculated, strategic move. So, there you have it. A product is so much more than just the thing you hold in your hand. It's a carefully designed, multi-layered bundle of benefits created to solve a problem or satisfy a deep-seated want. Which, of course, leads to one last question for you. Now that you're in on the secret, what are you really buying the next time you go shopping?